power. Real power doesn't come to those who are born strongest, or fastest, or smartest. It comes to those who will do anything to achieve it.
Silco is a man that has lost everything. All through his life, anything that he's gotten, he had to fight for. Even though he wasn't the bravest or the smartest or the strongest, he was the one that could endure to be able to do the things that no one else can do. He walks in a way that's predatory. He speaks in a way that's gruff, that commands fear in those that are around him. And he'll stop at nothing.
Hello, little girl. Where's your sister?
And so here we have this man that will do everything, and he wants to be able to find Vi. No, not V. Vi, apologies. You see him, he moves down in a very predatory way, and his voice is saccharine. You can tell that he is putting on a show of trying to seem friendly so he can get what he wants.
She left me. She is not my sister anymore.
So what happens? What happens with when a person that has been discarded by society, that everyone has hurt, betrayed, and abandoned, suddenly, I'm gonna get emotional, that suddenly has someone that is also vulnerable, is young, reach out to him, and it really seems like he sees parts of himself in Powder. That vulnerability, that being betrayed, that being abandoned, being left as discarded and no use to anyone. And it looks like sympathy, like genuine sympathy, possibly manipulation. Maybe he sees her as a tool.
What happened?
She already told you.
I'm asking you.
One of those firelight wackos was a girl.
Do you hear the difference in the tone of his voice now when he speaks with Jinx? It's soft and thoughtful. He's not even aggressive or reactionary when he deals with her. He asks her a question and waits and allows her to answer.
One of those firelight wackos was a girl with pink hair.
And that is really interesting because he shows such good parenting skills in this. He's calm and reserved. He knows that she's really upset. He knows that she's been through something. So many of us as parents would jump on our children when they've made a mistake that's actually caused us distress in the entire organization that they're a part of. But he doesn't. And that makes her feel safe and be able to share even though she's made a mistake.
Your sister's gone.
I know.
And then we see that beautiful head touch again that reminds me of when Powder and Vi were head touching, that show of genuine affection.
Today's screw-up will set us back weeks.
I'm sorry.
I need to know that I can rely on you.
All he says is, this was what happened. It's gonna set us back weeks. And she understands, and then they touch heads in this soft, warm moment between both of them. If he was using her for manipulation, he's definitely showing a lot of affection. It seems like this is not something that he's only using her for a tool. He actually cares.
I'm doing this for us, Jinx.
Won't happen again.
I know.
And I love when she says this won't happen again. His really soft, I know. It's confirming and soothing and calm instead of questioning her. And for Jinx, she's someone that's always made mistakes, that's always done the wrong thing. He is so soothing in the way that he handles her when she's fragile and upset and has made a mistake. He's that soft place for her to literally land. He not only accepts her flaws and her vulnerabilities, he encourages them. He allows her to be who she is and shows this unconditional acceptance. She is good enough. She isn't a mistake. She isn't someone to be thrown away. Here, she's cherished and given opportunities and jobs that show trust and show that someone believes in her. And even after she's made a mistake that's going to set them back weeks, he gives her the eye stabby thing to be able to take care of it. Wouldn't we all want that from our fathers? And it's so cool because he allows her to do something that is so vulnerable, to stab him in the eyeball. And it shows this great bond that he trusts her. Not only does he trust her to see him vulnerable, but he trusts her to be able to do this very difficult procedure to him and show that pain that he goes through. How many people would you allow to pierce in your eye if you didn't 100% trust them? They have a relationship that is beyond just work. But he still wants his nation of Zon. Plus, he really seems to want Jinx to give up the hope and want of her sister. That seems like he has an ulterior motive.
That's me!
So I love it. I love it, one, because it's just such a parental situation where your kid's not listening, done something wrong, playing the music. Here he has this possible sociopath, really, really angry, and her reaction is not even to bat an eye. She's not scared of him at all. And everyone else is terrified when he speaks, when he walks, he commands a presence. But their dynamic between the both of them, though he's showing genuine anger.
Half a dozen enforcers dead.
Yeah.
A building blown to pieces.
Oh, yeah.
She's calm and relaxed and lays her head down onto the table, showing, you know what, I know I messed up with this, but not a big deal. And I think that this shows this really established parental relationship between both of them, father and teenage daughter.
Any idea what you've done?
I do.
And that beautiful, genuine hug that she kind of, again, reminds me of when she was Powder and Vander had just died. She kind of like launches herself into him and really, truly embraces him. And I love that one hand on her shoulder, showing that he cares about her, but he's still holding that prize, that peace that's going to get him the nation of Zon. And I think that that shows the juxtaposition of he wants the nation of Zon, but he also loves this person who shows genuine care and trust for him.
I can't do it.
You're the only one I can trust with this, Jinx.
I keep seeing them that day.
Fear haunts us all.
She comes at him with a problem that she has, and I think that for a lot of parents, when their children have an issue, we want to rush in and protect them and keep everything safe for them and keep them out of harm's way. I think that Silco has a different manner of parenting, though. He really empowers her. He gives her this belief in who she is as a person. He wants to make her strong. He wants to make sure that she will survive. Just like he had that struggle and he had to survive when Vander was pushing him under the water and he drowned, yet also found this strength within himself.
I almost drowned in these waters.
You told me 1,000,000 times.
Vander wasn't the man you thought he was.
He was like a brother to you and he turned his back and blah, blah, blah.
This is a really interesting dynamics because she's being a snarky teenager that's like, yeah, Dad, you keep on telling me the same story over and over again. I'm so done with this. He doesn't admonish her at all. Like, really, if I was giving him some parenting advice, I would say that it is important for him to put some sort of boundaries and consequences to her behavior. Because he's had such a rough upbringing, he wants her to be strong, but he also wants to give her the space to be who she is, even if that's sometimes snarky and rude.
And another was reborn. Betrayal. Feels like it'll eat you from the inside out. Can either break you or forge you into something greater. You need to let Powder die.
And this is so beautiful because the last scene she was talking about how she was scared. He's felt that fear. He's been that weak man that felt like everyone could just trounce over him, and he was done with that. He sees himself in Jinx and he wants her to go through something similar to what he went through in order to have this rebirth, this baptism by fire, or really water. And you can see her look to him. She's no longer being snarky and sarcastic. She's listening to his words. These words matter, and because there's a whole ritual that is around it, we believe in rituals. Rituals, whether they be small or large, give meaning, give memory. They hold a place in our mind. So he could have just told her this story, but that wouldn't have had as much meaning. He's taken the time from running so many people in his organization to actually bring her here, because that's important enough to him. She's important enough to him.
You're strong now, just like you were always meant to be. Jinx is perfect.
I love it. I love it when he says those words. Jinx is perfect. And you see her brows furrow of how those words are so meaningful to her, how someone that has always believed that they're a mistake and they're a calamity and they're always going to do something wrong, to have that parental figure say, you know what, you're good enough for me. You're perfect in my eyes, even in your imperfection. It's so healing to when we've always thought of ourselves as different. And when someone that we look up to says something meaningful about us, it really sinks in. He holds her so gently. He cradles her down like when a baby gets taken to a baptism, and his hand goes really softly and lovingly over her cheek as she goes under the water. This is a really momentous occasion to him. This is where he became the man that he is, and he wants to impart that same lesson to his daughter. And you hear that little breath from Jinx as she, right before she submerges under the water, she's frightened. This scares her, but she trusts him enough also. Both of these people have been betrayed, abandoned, and discarded, but to each other, they have this extreme trust and love between them. We form our foundation of trust through our parents. And for both of these individuals, they did not have parents that stayed. They died or abandoned them or left them. And because of that, it cracks our foundation of trust. To rebuild it takes a lot of effort because you're looking all the time for the next person that's going to stab you in the back.
Where have you been, Jinx?
Chasing down dead ends.
I can explain.
Don't move, silly.
So she's stabbed him in the cheek, and he doesn't even struggle against it. He doesn't even say you shouldn't do that. He right away goes to explaining. He knows that he's hurt her in an area that she's wounded. She feels betrayed by him. And so he goes right to the hurt that he has caused in it. He doesn't even say you're wrong. He fully accepts that he understands why she feels this way, and he right away wants to explain.
I wanted to protect you.
From what?
She and the Enforcer are back for the crystal, not for you. I am your family. Everyone else betrays us.
For Silco, he's speaking about how Vi betrayed her, but I think that he has an ulterior motive, and I don't even think it's to keep her on the team. I think it's that he's really worried that if Jinx and Vi meet up, he's going to lose her. He wants to make sure that Vi doesn't take his daughter away from him. This is the one person that he loves and cares for unconditionally. And Vi is a threat. And that's why he says to her that she's coming not for you. It's not true, and he wouldn't be able to even know that. But he's now projecting that fear of being abandoned again. He's been through that, and now he found someone that matters to him, that makes him feel loved and cared for. And for us in our psyche, that is gold. In our brain, to find someone that you truly love and you would do anything for is one of the most powerful emotions that we can ever express. More than power and fame and money. He has abandonment issues also. He doesn't want to be left alone. He knows what that feels like, and now it feels so good to have someone that he truly cares about.
Now more than ever, you have to complete the weapon.
It still shows that he also wants that power of control and to be able to have that nation of Zon, which he has wanted for his entire adult life.
Jinx!
If anyone questioned his intentions up till this point, the worry in his eyes, the rushing over that he doesn't walk anymore in a predatory way when she's injured, he rushes over immediately. His eyes are wide with worry. These are all things that show that he really loves and worries about her in a very deep way. And it only disempowers him to show these emotions around all of the people that work for him. So it doesn't benefit him in any way. If it was manipulative, she's not even conscious, so she wouldn't know it. It's only a cost to him. And that's how we know when no one is looking or it comes at a cost. That's how we know that this matters more than what the people that work for him think of him. And he cradles her to him really closely and gently. That's what we do with things that are precious to us. She is precious to him. He picks her up and carries her himself. He has these really strong henchmen that could do this for him. She is too precious for anyone else to carry. Even though he may not be the strongest of people, he's not going to leave her up to the hands of anyone else but himself. And isn't that what a good father would do for their child? He's ran her all the way over to the doctor to be able to take care of her himself, not having someone else to do it, even though that would have been much more efficient. This matters to him. He needs to make sure that she is going to be okay.
But the process would be the bad thing.
She can take it.
Are you prepared to lose her?
I love that. Are you prepared to lose her? Right away you see the abandonment, the anxiety in his eyes. No, he's not able to lose her. I think that in this moment, that realization of how deeply she means to him, how strongly he knows that he can't exist without her, comes to the forefront for him.
Jinx! She won't die. She can't.
And that beautiful statement of that she can't die, and he gives her this really tender kiss.
What have you done?
He thinks that he's actually lost her, the rage that he has inside of him. He wants to kill the man that did not keep her safe, that he held all of his hope inside of that. And if you've ever lost someone that you truly love, it's an undescribable pain. You can understand that rage of him wanting to take it out on someone, to blame someone that isn't him, because he probably feels that same amount of anger and guilt within himself.
You want peace. This is the price.
You'll discontinue the production of Shimmer.
Half there already.
Return the gemstone.
You can tell that he knows that everything that he's wanted this nation of Zon is right within his grasp.
And I need Jinx. She has to pay for what she's done.
They weren't her crimes. She was working for me.
This is the first time you see him starting to fidget. He looks around. That wasn't something that he prepared himself for. That was not something on the bargaining table. And not only does this make him anxious, but this man that would do everything for the nation of Zon, he offers himself up. She didn't do it. It was me. He's protective of her and will protect her with his own life.
If I had it my way, it'd be you rotting in Stillwater. Get me Jinx, and I'll give you your nation of Zon.
Within one hand, he holds everything that he's ever wanted, and the only thing that he has to give up is the only person that he's ever loved, and that has ever loved him back. And you see him crestfallen as he stands there, no longer strong and predatory, defeated, even in his victory.
1,000 times I've imagined this moment. Never like this. All we ever wanted. And what do I lose but problems? Is there anything so undoing as a daughter?
And so it goes through that dilemma that he has. He gets everything that he's ever wanted, that he's fought his whole life for, that every single mission that they've gone on, all the people that have died for this nation of Zon to be able to be fully independent and respected. But then on the other side, that person, the only person he's ever truly unconditionally loved and who truly trusts and loves him back. The girl that he has raised into this strong teenager that he admires and really cares about. And I think that that beautiful statement he made of, is there anything as undoing as a daughter? I think that that really was statement of, it undoes all the things that he cares of. It's changed the things that really matter to him. And he has to go through that mourning of giving up something that he has hoped for and dreamed for. He's sitting next to Vander, the only other person that would truly understand, but also a father to Jinx when she was powder. But also someone else that shared the dream of being able to give all of the people their own power.
Is there anything so undoing as a daughter?
But for Jinx, when we're hurt and we've been so damaged, we look at everything through those facets of our wounds. So we sometimes will see things that aren't even there. Those words to her mean that he's gonna betray her. He's gonna pick the mission that is so important, that's what they've all been working at. And I don't even think that she yet sees herself as someone that would even be important enough, that someone would give up all of their hopes and dreams and everything that they have been working towards for her. Because she's always been the one that was not good enough and left. And when we've been hurt in childhood really deeply, it causes that fracture within ourselves, and it's hard to see ourselves as anything else.
He took everything from us. Right here, he stabbed Vander in the back. Just like he planned to with me.
She's so sure that he's going to abandon her and betray her, that she's going to make sure that she fights back first this time, that he's going to pay for hurting her after she fully trusted him. And that's what we do sometimes, so that we don't get hurt, so we don't allow ourselves to be fully vulnerable. We attack first, so that we're at least the ones that are wielding the sword or throwing the first stone. And we think it'll hurt less, but it doesn't.
We'll put this behind us. You'll never have to see him again, Powder.
Her name is Jinx. She's lying. You'll be with her a day before she realizes you aren't that girl anymore and turns her back on you.
And here he is. He's fighting for her. He wants her not to leave him. When he says her name is Jinx, he doesn't want her to remember the past where she wasn't with him. He wants her at that point of rebirth when he feels that he was truly hers. And we don't want to be left again.
The Topsiders offered me everything, all in return for you. They can all burn. Everyone betrays us, Jinx. Vander, her. You're my daughter. I'll never forsake you.
It's interesting when Silco speaks, he says the word Vander, the person that he ended up killing and tried to kill him, but the person he says the word with the most venom is Vi, the person that could take his daughter away from him. I don't think it's because his life is at risk. I really believe that death is better for him than that feeling of loss to the person that means the world to him.
Powder, wake up! Remember who you are and know. Picture Milo.
And he sees Vi fighting for her psyche, for all of the inner demons, who she is as a person. And this is when he starts to struggle, when Vi is pulling her back to her side, when his risk in losing her is the greatest. Now you see the fury that's inside of him. This, out of everything, he can't have happen. And then he goes to shoot and kill the one person that can take her away from him. It's so understandable. This is the thing that he loves, and aren't we going to do everything we can to protect them and keep them with us? But it's a selfish hurt love, because our children, we raise them in order to be let free. But because he's gone through such abandonment, he's not able to do that. And so sometimes he is manipulative or says the wrong thing or does the wrong thing.
No, I'm sorry.
And when she realizes that that she's shot him and possibly killed him, it reminds me of when when she was powder and she realized that the other people in her family have died. And for Jinx, that she's again been too much. It's just so heartbreaking for her to have to go through this again.
I never would have given you to them. Not for anything. Don't cry. You're perfect.
And I love those words that he says again, like that, not even to cry. He doesn't even say that, you know, you shouldn't have done that. You shot me. You should have been more in control. He doesn't want her to feel bad. That last little thing of, instead of how Vi handled it and said, you're a Jinx and you're horrible. It's so beautiful that, you know, he says you're perfect. She's done this horrible thing, and yet he can still make her feel okay from it. And I think that that's what shows this love and bond between them, and why Silco is this character that I think that we can all empathize with. And I think it's just a really poignant scene. Let me know which Arcane character you would want me to deal with next in the comments below. And to check out all of my reactions so far, ad-free, sponsor-free, check out Nebula. That's where I post all of my videos and podcasts. Plus, you can find out all kinds of special, interesting, behind-the-scenes features like me and Renee eating ghost pepper chips and seeing how we react to that as well. And it's not just my videos, but Legal Eagle, Sarah Z, Medlife Crisis, Nando vs. Movies, Braincraft, and many, many more. All ad-free, sponsor-free on Nebula, and bundled in for free when you sign up with today's sponsor at curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow, or click the link below. And right now, because you're watching this video, you can get Curiosity Stream for 26% off. Less than $15 a year. Less than the price of a movie ticket for the whole year. And that includes thousands of amazing documentaries and series like Nature's Fight Club, where you can see animals face daily battles to protect themselves and secure the resources that they need. It's the best way to support educational creators directly, and the best deal in streaming today. Over 26% off Curiosity Stream, less than $15 a year, and you get Nebula bundled in for free. Just click the button on the screen or go to curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow, and it really helps support my channel. So thank you. And if you like this video, let me know in the comments below. If you really enjoyed it, please hit subscribe, or you can support me on Patreon.